Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I pay homage to my teacher, Lukswamin Hanse. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we go to the final section of the sutta. Let's see what Buddha is going to teach us. Okay, so in the end of the deep Dhamma explanations about 5 groups of clinging, and as you can see here, the simile of the snake, Alagaddupama Sutta in the middle length discusses of the Buddha. Buddha teaches in the same way mendicants give up what is yours, giving it up will be for your lasting welfare and happiness. And what is not yours, form is not yours, feeling is not yours, perception is not yours, choices is not yours, consciousness isn't yours. Give it up. Giving it up will be for your lasting welfare and happiness. We learned about that. So this is the final section. Anybody to read and make good karma?
I can read Bhante.
Who is that?
Arjuna.
Okay, please.
Thus, the teaching has been well explained by me, made clear, opened, illuminated, and stripped off patchwork. In this teaching, there are mendicants who are perfected, who have ended the defilements, completed the spiritual journey, done what had to be done, laid down the burden, achieved their own goal, utterly ended the fetters of rebirth, and are rightly freed through enlightenment. For them, there is no cycle of rebirths to be found. In
Okay,
this
so that is about the enlightened disciples. And what is their nature? Who are perfected, who have ended defilements, you see, they don't have any negative qualities, completed the spiritual journey, that means they have completed the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. All the 8 factors of the path has been fully practiced. Done what had to be done. So in order to escape from suffering, they have done everything needed. They don't have to do anything to add. Let down the burden. Burden is a synonym for the 5 groups of clinging. Khanda, it's the let down. That means they have escaped from the roots of craving. Achieve their own goal, for which they became monks. They have achieved the goal, ending of suffering. Utterly ended the fetters of rebirth. There are 10 fetters that lead to any being to any realm. There are 10 fetters: Sakkaya Ditti, Vichikiccha, Silabbata Paramasa, Kamaraga, Patiga, Uddacha, Avijja, Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Mana, Uddacha, Avijja. So 10 fetters. So all these 10 fetters are ended. these fetters keep us bound to this cycle of rebirth. So these 10 fetters are divided into two parts. First 5 are called Orambhagya Sangyojana, lower fetters. The other 5 fetters are called Uddhambhagya Sangyojana, higher fetters. When somebody's life is fettered by the first 5 fetters, Sangyojana, that person will never escape from rebirth, from hell, animal world, ghost world, human world, and heavenly world. Okay? And that person will only be born in the Brahma world. So the person who is released, who has ended the first 5 fetters, will be born only in the Brahma world, but he has 5 more fetters to be abandoned, and he will do that. As a result, he will end all the 10 fetters and achieve Nibbana, end of rebirth. Out of the first 5 fetters, as long as someone has the first 3 fetters, Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikiccha, and Silabhata Paramasa, identity view, meaningless rules and rituals, and doubt, as long as one's life is fettered by these first 3 fetters, that person will never be liberated from hell, animal world, ghost world, and any planes of misery. So this enlightened monk is liberated from all the 10 fetters, utterly ended the fetters of rebirth, and are rightly freed through enlightenment. They have achieved enlightenment. For them, there is no cycle of rebirth to be found. That's how they achieve the end of rebirth, and that is the end of suffering. And I asked during the Dhamma discussion with kids today, they asked something about this. And I asked, okay, so some people say, okay, if rebirth has to be stopped in order to escape from suffering, what happens if we continue to be born? Then the answer is, if we continue to be reborn, we will die. Repeatedly, we will die, right? And if we need to stop death, repeated death, what should be done? We should stop rebirth. Then I asked the kids, have you heard that some people say that there is a permanent life after death, everlasting life, eternal life after death? They said, yes, we have heard. So what is right? I asked them. They said, it is wrong. There is no permanent life after death. If there is birth somewhere, definitely there is death. That's what they said. Aren't they smart?
Yes, but they're smarter than the adults.
So yes, so that is why in order to be liberated from suffering, birth has to be ended. The rebirth is the problem. You can't find a solution with the rebirth. If you say, I am going to be reborn and permanent there, and my suffering will end, that doesn't work. Rebirth and end of suffering don't go together. End of rebirth and end of suffering go together. So those are the fortunate disciples of the noble disciples of the Buddha who have achieved the end of suffering. They are not going to be reborn anywhere. The causes for rebirth has been ended. Okay, so we go to the next paragraph. Who is going to read?
I can read Mante.
Okay, Rob.
In this teaching, there are medicants who have given up the 5 lower fetters. All of them are reborn spontaneously. They are extinguished there and are not liable to return from that world.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So as I mentioned, so this is the second, this is the first we learn about the enlightened disciples, and that's the first category, okay? And this is the second category in this paragraph. And as I said, they have ended or given up the 5 lower fetters. And if you are in the Deep Dhamma class at the monastery, I would ask you to write them down, or the 5 lower fetters. What are the 5 lower fetters?
Sakkaya
In Pali, Sakkaya Ditthi, Vichikicha, Silabbata Paramasa, Kamaraga, and Patiga. So these are human beings who do this. What did they do? How did they give up 5 lower fetters? They gave up the identity view, Sakkaya Ditthi. That means they understood that this form is impermanent, there is no self, feelings are impermanent, perceptions are impermanent, thoughts are impermanent, consciousness is impermanent. They are dependently arisen. There are impermanent causes and conditions behind them. There is no self, there is no owner. Like that they understood. Especially they practice that meditation that we practice in the beginning of this program. So that leads to the ending of the identity view, Sakkaya Ditthi, Vichikicha. They don't have doubts about this life, about past, about future, where did we come from, what happens after death, what is this life, what is the self. They don't have doubts. They clearly understand the dependent origination, causes and effects, conditions, mechanism of rebirth, karma. They have a very clear understanding. Doubt is gone. Silabbata Paramasa, they know, because they have a very good understanding about good karma and bad karma. They know that actions lead to happiness. Good actions lead to happiness. Bad actions lead to pain or suffering. So they don't go after meaningless rites and rituals and auspicious omens, auspicious objects. They don't go after those things. You know, some people have frogs, the statues of frogs in front of their houses, thinking that is an auspicious sign to see a frog when they enter the house. And some people put the statue of the laughing Buddha, thinking that it's going to be an auspicious sign. So those are kind of, they fall under rites and meaningless rites and rituals. And there are so many of those things because they don't understand how karma works, good and bad actions. And that is gone in the lives of non-returners. So this second category of people, disciples, are called non-returners. Okay. And so Sakkaya Ditthi, Vichikitta, Silabbata Paramasa, Kamaraga. Kamaraga means these powerful human beings, they understand the suffering behind the worldly pleasures, the sense pleasures. They understand the suffering behind them. So they cut off desire, the craving for these worldly pleasures. They cut off craving for visual objects, sounds, smells, tastes, and tangibles. That is amazing that human beings can do this. That is the giving up of kama raga. Patika means these human beings, this powerful group of human beings understand the meaningless nature of anger. They completely cut off anger. Nothing in this world can make them angry anymore. So we think these are inherent qualities. We think it's a part of our life. but reality is different. These are like strangers. We can delete this angry part of the mind. We can live like people, always with the peaceful mind, no matter what happens outside, no matter what outsiders say. So those are the 5 law of fetters, and all of them are gone in this group of fortunate human beings. And what will happen? As a result, they will be reborn spontaneously in the Brahma world. They are extinguished there. That means they attain Nibbana there and are not liable to return from that world. That will be their final life, and that they will not be reborn anywhere after that. Okay, are you any of these in these first 2 categories?
We're trying, Bante.
Trying. That's also good. Trying is also good. Okay, we go to the 3rd category.
Want me to continue?
If you like, you can, or if anybody else wants to make merry.
Sure, Bante.
Okay, Gita.
Okay. In this teaching, there are mendicants who have given up their fetters and weakened greed, hate, and delusion are once returners. All of them come back to this world only. I can't see it, Bante. Only once. Once only. Then make an end of suffering.
Okay.
In this state.
Okay,
Stop.
hold on. Yeah, please pause. So, what are these groups of people? Having given up 3 fetters. So, they have given up those 3 fetters, first 3 fetters: identity view, doubt, meaningless rites and rituals, and weakened greed, hatred, and delusion. So, the previous category, have they weakened greed and hate, or have they completely given up? They have completely given up. But in this category of one's returns, they are called one's returns, they have weakened greed, hatred, and delusion. They have realized the Dhamma to some extent. So their anger is in a very controlled manner. Their greediness in a very controlled manner. They have become very generous after listening to the Dhamma. Their delusion is in a very controlled manner. Their wisdom is developing, and they are, how do we call them?
Once returner.
Once returners. Why? They all
they
come back to this world once.
Yep.
Come back to this world means human world or heavenly world.
Heavenly world. Yeah.
Then make an end of suffering, and that is going to be their final life. That's interesting, because the in the non-returners case also that's their final life, but they are in the Brahma world, right? In the case of non-returners' lives, that is also their final life. So that means if you become a once returner in this life, you will be reborn again one time only. Maybe again in the human world or in human world. One time, okay?
Oh, sorry, Bante. No, they can be reborn in the human world or heavenly worlds. Is it possible they are reborn in Brahma world, not the
No, once returners not in Brahma world.
But Bante, not the Sudhavasa Brahma world, like the one
In
that.
other Brahma worlds?
Yes,
Possible.
Bante.
Possible.
Possible, Bante?
Yeah, if the meditation practice is very strong.
Yes. Okay. Very good.
Next one. Who can read?
I will read Bante. In this teaching, there are mendicants who have entered 3 fetters. All of them are string enterers, not liable to be reborn in the underworld, bound for awakening.
Very good. So this group of people are called stream enterers, Sotapanna. So the previous group is called Sakadagami, once returners, and the next group is called Anagami, non-returners. The first group is called Arahants, liberated ones. So these are extreme entrants, these disciples, and they have ended first three fetters. Again, identity view, doubt, meaningless rites and rituals. They are extreme enterers, not liable to be reborn in the underworld. That means they are freed from hell, rebirth in hell, animal world, ghost world, and all the planes of misery. Very fortunate people. They are bound for awakening in maximum of 7 lives. In maximum of 7 lives. So maybe some disciples before 7 lives, before the 7th one. Maybe in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, but maximum 7. Is that the end of the noble disciples? So we discussed about arahants, we discussed about non-returners, we discussed about once returners, and now we discussed about extreme enterers. Is that the end?
No, Bhante.
Have you be like, do you have to be in any of these definitely?
For sure, Bhante, without a doubt.
There are no any other fortunate
Shraddhanusari and
thing?
Dhammanusari.
Any other
There are,
fortunate?
Bhante.
Swaminathan Shraddhanusari and Dhammanusari.
Why? Because these are very difficult, eh?
Yes.
We have to try, Bhante.
So you like to pass simple exams? Okay, fortunately Buddha continues. That's not the end. Who is going to read?
Bhante,
Uh-huh.
Namo Buddhaya Bhante. Regarding the stream enter, do they already weaken the hatred?
No.
I mean, Loba
No, it
Dosam
doesn't say.
Moha for the stream enter?
He doesn't say like that in the description, but Buddha says they are weakened in the once returners.
So does it mean that stream enter still have
Greed,
the
hate, and delusion.
yeah.
Greed, hate, and delusion, but they are working on them. That's the difference between ordinary people and stream entrants. Ordinary people, they don't have any idea how they arise, the dangers of that, the drawbacks of that, about the bad consequences after death. No idea about those things for ordinary people. But the difference, the extreme entrants, they are working on them. They understand the danger, they understand the drawbacks, they understand how they arise, and they are working on it. Okay, Aina?
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
Good. Okay, who is going to read the next?
I can read Swaminathan.
Okay.
In these teachings, there are mendicants who are followers of principles or followers by faith. All of them are bound for awakening.
Okay, so these are the this type of disciples are on the path to stream entry. They are not yet stream enterers. They are on the path. They are called, yeah, they are called, okay, there are two disciples here. Followers of principles. The Pali word is Dhammanusari. The followers of faith means Saddhanusari. They are on the path to stream entry. Remember, they are not yet stream enterers. What are the Pali words for those two types? Dhammanusari, Shraddhanusari. Are they unfortunate?
No,
No,
Swaminathan.
all of them are bound for awakening. They are the ones who are going to be stream enterers one day. See these amazing words of the Buddha. And this is the conclusion of the Buddha. Dinil, you like to read?
Sure, Bhante, I'll read. Thus the teaching has been well explained by me, made clear, opened, illuminated, and stripped of patchwork. In this teaching, there are those who have a degree of faith and love for me. All of them are bound for heaven. That is what the Buddha said. Satisfied, the mendicants were happy with what the Buddha said.
Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So this faith, degree of faith is not a simple thing. Like for example, we learn stories in the Vimanamattu like Matta Kundali, the son, the boy Matta Kundali. He just had a degree of faith and love for the Buddha. He didn't have time to listen to the deep Dhamma or meditate or, you know, he just had this degree of faith. And Chatta Manavaka, that boy, the young man, also had a degree of faith. He didn't have to learn about Four Noble Truths. He didn't have time. That he just had few minutes to live. His lifespan was about to over, and still Buddha went there and helped him. And he achieved this degree of faith. And what happened to them? They became gods. God Chattamanavaka, God Mata Kundali. Because all of them are bound for heaven. The degree of faith is so strong. So they will get another opportunity to understand the deep Dhamma, because in heaven they meet Kalyana Mittas, noble friends. There are lots of noble friends in the heaven. And so they start associating with those gods and goddesses and start following the deep Dhamma. That's how Buddha helped some people. For some people, they didn't have time to learn deep Dhamma, or they didn't have enough karma. But still, Buddha wanted to send them to a safer place. Buddha didn't forget them, thinking, oh, they don't have enough karma to grasp these deep teachings, so there is no point of helping them. No, Buddha didn't think like that. He was compassionate. And Buddha helped them, even with little things, to go to a safer place. So at least in the next life, they will get an opportunity. So some people, like, they misunderstand why is Buddha talking about heaven, and we don't want to go to heaven, we don't like to learn about heaven, we only like about nibbana. Like that some people argue without knowing what is happening. Okay, so that is the amazing sutta, Alagaddupama Sutta. Sadhu, sadhu. So we have come to the end of the program, and before the merit sharing, any comments, any questions? Are you
Thank you
happy?
for teaching us. Thank you, Bante.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. We first learned for the first time in our life, we first listened to this sutta when my teacher Loku Swamin was teaching it. We didn't know about even the name of the sutta. We didn't know that a sutta called Alagaddupama Sutta exists. My teacher was teaching it to a group of people, and anyhow we found the cassettes. You know the cassettes, those days. Nowadays I don't think kids know about cassettes. They know about CDs, SD cards, USBs, they know. But back then we had cassettes. So we listened to this Alagaddupama Sutta for the first time with cassettes, and we were amazed by the knowledge of the Buddha.
Bante, Bante, I want to ask, at the beginning, Bante mentioned that consciousness should be understood.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Wisdom or panya should be developed. My question is, what would Bante explain about what's the way should we develop the panya? What I mean that is it only meditation the way how we can develop panya?
Develop panya.
Yes.
Katan sulabhate panya. How to get wisdom.
It is only through meditation, or did Buddha teach us any other way?
Let's learn the answer from the Buddha, okay? Katan sulabhate panya. How to get wisdom. If you have Parita books, go to page 78. Let me share for you. Do you see the sutta name?
Yes, Bante.
What is that?
Alagaddupama.
Alagaddupama. Go down. Okay, so this is the question. What is the question?
Katamsu labate panyam. Katamsu vidante danam.
No, only the first question.
Oh, katamsu labate panyam.
Meaning?
How does one gain wisdom?
Answer.
When Arahants teach the Dhamma leading to Nibbana, if one listens to that Dhamma with close attention and confident mind and investigate that Dhamma diligently, then in this way, one wins wisdom.
Sadhu. Don't say that is Jivanadamante said that this is how to gain wisdom. That is how to gain wisdom. Understand, this is taught by the Buddha, okay? Okay, Aina?
Yes, Bante, thank you.
Okay. When Arahants teach the Dhamma leading to Nibbana, if one listens to that Dhamma with close attention and confident mind and investigates that Dhamma diligently, then in this way one wins wisdom. So here Arahants means Buddhas and his disciples. That is the Dhamma we are still using today. So Buddha has taught the Dhamma leading to Nibbana, and if one listens to that Dhamma and investigates, you can gain wisdom.
Bante, how to understand the word investigate?
That is
contemplate, or
let's say the Pali word here. Appamato vichakkano. Yes, vichakkano is translated as investigates. Yeah, like wise consideration, contemplation, reflecting, observation, right?
Thank you, Bante.
Any other questions?
Bante, can I ask one question? Bante, in the beginning of the session, Bante, we talk about that consciousness, Bante, again. Can Bante please explain a little bit? This is in the Sampasadanya Sutta that Supreme Buddha preached about how the consciousness is established in this world and also in the other world. Let's say we do something good, so our consciousness established here and as well in the others. I think it's called Sota Vinyanam, Bante. Can Bante touch that like slightly? What does that mean, Bante? Like
It's very deep. I don't have time.
Maybe next week, but
Maybe it's for the next class. Okay.
yes, Bhante.
Any other simple questions?
Swaminathan, quick question, Swaminathan. Is there a sutra that explains, like, if you are a Saddhanusari or Dhammanusari, before the death comes, that the person is able to achieve stream entry within the very same
Yeah,
life?
I will show you the path to read the collection of that suttas, and you read by yourself.
Yes, Swaminathan.
This is how you should go. Okay.
I remember. I can remember something like that, but maybe, yeah, I cannot remember the name of this.
So you can go with me. You go to Sutta Central. You go to suttacentral.net. Okay.
Yes, Swaminathan.
And then you click here menu. And you see Sutta.
Yes, Swaminathan.
You click on Sutta. And you see here linked. Linked means Sangyutta Nikaya. Sangyutta Nikaya. You need to go to Sangyutta Nikaya. Okay. And you see here the Sagata Vagga, Nidana Vagga, Khanda Vagga. You click on Khanda. Okay. You scroll down and you go to number 25, Upkanta Sangyutta.
Yes,
You
Swaminathan.
click there. And then you see Chakku Vagga and you go there and see what happens. And you click on this, the I, Chakku Sutta, and you click on the Sutta. And this is the Sutta. There are 10 suttas, not only one. Mendicants, the I is impermanent. Can you read?
Sure, Bhante, I'll read.
Okay.
Mendicants, the eye is impermanent, perishing and changing. The ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind are impermanent, perishing and changing. Someone who has faith and confidence in these principles is called a follower by faith. They've arrived at inevitably regarding the right path. They've arrived at the level of the good person, and they've transcended the level of the bad person. They can't do any deed which would make them be reborn in hell, the animal realm, or the ghost realm. They can't die without realizing the fruit of stream entry.
There are 10 suttas in that section. You can read all the 10. So that is where Buddha teaches the Saddhanusari, faith followers and Dhamma followers will not die until they attain the stage of extreme entry. So this learning of Dhamma, investigation, practicing, keeping precepts, this is not in vain, okay? This is the path to become extreme entrance. The huge danger is that whenever this life is over, if we are going to be born in hell, animal world, ghost world, or planes of misery, that is the biggest danger. So the only solution for that is to follow the path to extreme entry. Okay, so I think everybody learned Dhamma from the enlightenment of the Buddha. And
Bhante,
uh-huh.
question about the chanting on Thursday evening.
Okay.
Just is that a traditional New Year's activity in a lot of different traditions in Buddhism, or is that something even in the time of the Buddha, the New Year would have been recognized in some way?
No, it was not in the Buddha's time. There is no such thing in the Buddha's world. Enlightenment's world. The celebration of birthdays, the celebration of New Year's, there is no such thing. Have you ever heard that Buddha saying, okay, now let's organize a birthday party for me. I am 60 years old now. There's no such thing. They come from the ordinary worlds. Buddha said, Jatipi dukkha, birth is suffering. How can he celebrate birthdays? Buddha said, dukkha jati punah punah, repeated birth is suffering. How can he celebrate birthdays? And Buddha said, ajjeva kiccang atappang kojangnya maranang sue. Practice the Dhamma diligently. Today itself, who knows, tomorrow death will come. Will he organize the ceremonies to celebrate the New Year's? So these are just parts of the ordinary worlds. But people, people like to receive blessings. It's better than watching dramas, movies, and do drink alcohol, take drugs, and have these evil ceremonies to celebrate a new year. It's better to chant Paritta and receive blessings. And especially we chanted that day Bojjanga Kasapathera Bojjanga Paritta, and that was a discourse given by the Buddha to a Sikh Bhante, Sikh Arhan Bhante Mahakasapathero, and we use the same thing. And especially these days, lots of people are sick, and you don't need to wait for 31st of December to chant that. You can chant it that every day. But the chanting is found in the teachings of the Buddha. Buddha chanted, or Buddha spoke that discourse, and as a result of that monk Arhan Bhante Kassapa Mahathero recovered from that illness. And Angulimala Parita is also like that, and chanting the Angulimala Parita but by Angulimala Bhante led to the easy delivery of the baby by a pregnant mother. And you can chant that sutta. Ratana Sutta was chanted by the Buddha and the Bhantes at that time, when there was the human beings in the Vishala, the country of Vishala, attacked by non-humans, diseases, and lots of problems.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome. So I'm happy I had the opportunity to share the amazing teachings of the Buddha with you, and you are also happy because you got to listen to the amazing teachings of a fully enlightened Buddha. Please recollect those teachings, reflect on them, contemplate them, practice accordingly, and by the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, may all of us have the opportunity to attain freedom from suffering, Nibbana. Is Chandramani there?
Yes, Bhante, it was excellent.
Oh, I just heard you saying sadhu. That's how I knew you were hidden. Okay.
Sadhu.
And she's I don't know if you know her, she's the one who established Mahamyona, the branch of Mahamyona organization in Toronto for the first time, and that was the very first overseas branch of the Mahamyona organization. And she invited my teacher Lokaswami Nasi to come here in Canada in 2006. So that's how the whole world started establishing foreign branches of Mahamuna organization, and it's you can share merit with her and you can rejoice her merit while she because she's in this program today, and she's we call her Chandra Manu, Chandra the Silva, and she has earned immense merit and good karma for her life. So you can rejoice in her good karma. And she has prepared visas for I don't know how many monks over the years now. Still, she is doing, and that she's a very good example for volunteering work. Sometimes when Bantes try to give some volunteer opportunities for some people, they feel like reluctant, or they feel like, I cannot do that, I am so busy and like that. But she never said that. For these many years, she's still doing that very hard immigration work for monks, preparing all the visas, and um, she's awake in many nights, preparing visas, uh, stays overnight and making those documents. And sometimes when Bantes come from through the airport, she's awake and her phone is always on, because sometimes Bantes have transits, and she wants to make sure that Bantes come safely and get out from that first the airplane and get to the next one. She's curious, and Bantes call them to her even in the midnight, early morning, and she always picks up the phone. I don't think everybody can do that. So, and she never told Bante that, okay, Bante, I'm so tired now. I have been preparing visas for years and years now. It started from 2006, and now we are in the 2021. She never told Bante that, okay, can you find somebody else to prepare visas? She never told that, and that's how grateful she is for my teacher, Lukswabino Hanse, all the monks. And because of her tireless effort, today you have Bantes here, and you listen to the Dhamma from Bantes. And please rejoice in her merits and wish her long life and good health, saying sadhu.
We rejoice many. Oh, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Unfortunately, you can't see her face, but you don't need to see the face. We don't see the face of the Buddha and Arhants, but still we are grateful and we worship, right?
Yes, we see her good karma, Bante.
So let us share merit again with our teacher Lokuswami Mahansi, who has given us all of these opportunities. May my teacher Lokuswami Mahansi also attain Nibbana. Sadhu. We share merit with all the Bantes in Mahameunawa, in Canada, Sri Lanka, and the Bantes all over the world, and all the nuns in all the countries. May all the Bantes also enjoy long life, good health, and attain Nibbana. Sadhu. We share merit with everybody who is sick currently due to the coronavirus. May they enjoy speedy recovery, and may they be peaceful. Sadhu. We share merit with our parents, teachers, friends, departed relatives, sons, daughters, and with everybody. May everybody enjoy long life, good health, and protect the rare human life which they received after a very long time. May they associate with good friends. May they keep precepts, practice meditation, follow the Noble Eightfold Path, and put an end to this suffering, attaining Nibbana. Okay, I'm going to chant the verses of blessings. Abhivadana Silis Nichang Vadapachayinu Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvanno Sukhambalan Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminati Samijjatu.
Bante cannot say
Oh, say after me, to worship Bante. Okasa Vandami Bante.
Okasa Vandami.
Maya Katam Punyang.
Maya Katang Punyang.
Amina Anumoditabang.
Samina Anumoditabang.
Amina Katam Punyang.
Samina Katang Punyang.
Mayanda Tabang.
Maya Katam.
Sadhu Sadhu Anumodami.
Sadhu Sadhu Anumodami.
Okasa Dwaratena.
Okasa Dwaratena.
Katan Sabbang Achyam.
Katang Sabbang Achyam.
Pamatami Bante.
Pamatami Bante.
Okasa Kamami Bante.
Okasa Kamami
Bante.
Dutiyampi Okasa Kamami Bante.
Dutiyampi Okasa Kamami Bante.
Tatiyampi Okasa Kamami Bante.
Tatiyampi Okasa Kamami Bante.
Amen.
Sadhu.